Arushi, I'm going to make you host.
Sure.
Let's make sure like everybody has some homework to do after,
Yeah, sounds good.
Host.
Hi, how's everyone doing today?
I'm doing great, and you?
Good, good.
I am good.
So, how's your guys' experience with JavaScript? We're starting from scratch, so don't worry if you don't have anything yet. But how is it? So, have you like worked with it before?
I have basic
I
knowledge
had been
of that.
working before, but kind of like forget a little.
Yeah. So, like everyone knows like a little bit about the basics, right?
I'm completely new to it.
Oh, you're
Arushi.
completely new. Okay. And Karan, you were saying something?
Yeah, I just have basic level knowledge of it.
Okay, no worries. So we'll kind of start with like the ground up. So let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Awesome. So have you guys worked with like other programming languages like Python and stuff?
Yes.
So we all have like a couple of basic data types, right?
Yeah.
So here are the basic ones in JavaScript, but you can go ahead and guess. So like just go and like shout out some data types and I'll tell you if they exist in JavaScript.
Integers, doubles.
Yeah, so integers. So in JavaScript, we don't really distinguish between integers, floats, doubles. We just go number, which is easy, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Strings.
Yeah.
Boolean.
String. Yeah. String, Boolean. Yeah, so you got your number, string, Boolean. Then you got object too, right?
Yeah.
Like in a lot of them, you have like a hash map or some sort of a dictionary. You got an object here. Apart from these.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm leaving. Arushi, guys, make sure that you finish that Git course before coming to course tomorrow. Okay, you all are a little bit weak in Git. I want you guys to finish that course before coming tomorrow. Okay. All right. Good luck, guys. Bye.
So apart from like these basic ones, we also have two other data types that we don't kind of have to focus on right now, but are just good to know. So you got undefined and null. And now anyone who's coming from other programming languages, you've either worked with null or you either worked with none, right? Like probably either or. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you got your number, your string, your Boolean. So your number, okay, so just random examples, right? You got your 4, your 5. String, anything in quotes, double quotes or single quotes doesn't really matter in JavaScript. So, but whatever you do, just stay consistent because, you're gonna most likely have a formatter for JavaScript like installed in your VS Code. So whatever you do, it kind of formats based on that. So if you always use single quotes in your string, it'll format based on that. So just stay consistent. Just pick whatever you like. It's all good. Then Boolean, you got your true, false. In JavaScript, Boolean and false are like all lowercase. So that's good to know. Objects go inside curly braces. And don't worry, we're gonna like go over examples of all of these. So objects go in curly braces and they kind of look like this. I don't know if you guys have So what languages are you familiar with, if any?
With Python, Java, C++.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, so if you know Python, so you know how you got your dictionary. So this is essentially like that. And then Java also, I think, has dictionaries that look like this, but I'm not sure. What about everyone else?
Java.
Java, nice. So yeah, if you guys have Java already, then you're pretty good syntax wise, right?
Hi,
So
Arushi. This is Deepa here.
how's it
Me, I am very new, so I'm learning. So I have very basic understanding of Python, and that is pretty much it.
Okay, that's fine. That's totally okay. So we're just going over data types, right? So this is how you would write a number, right? Like 4, 5, 6, like any number. Even most importantly, what you would generally call floats. So decimal. So number can be literally any of these. And then yeah, you got your strings. So this can just be any string you want. You got your Boolean, you got your object. And we're really gonna go into object like in great detail because we use objects a lot in JavaScript, like pretty much for everything. And then we've got undefined and null. We're gonna kind of skip this for now, but that exists. So we know that it exists. So any questions so far about data types, anything you don't get, except maybe like null and undefined?
No. Excuse me, Arushi.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what all are we going to cover in today's lecture?
So it's going to be super basic today. So we're going to do mostly data types. You're familiar with JavaScript?
Yes, I am. So
Okay,
I was
yeah.
just wondering that if it's gonna be like really basic, then is it okay if
Really
I drop
basic.
off from this
Yeah,
one?
yeah. It's
Just
totally
wanted to know
fine.
what you are going through. That's it.
Who am I talking to right now?
Sorry, I'm
Karan, right? So you can definitely check out the recording if you think it's too basic. It's totally fine because it is. So it's just going to be data types, var, let, const, the difference between them, um, basic function declarations, different types of functions, maybe function calls, how to pass parameters and stuff like that.
okay. Got it. Yeah.
Right? Sounds good.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, for sure. So if you actually had to make a variable in JavaScript, let's just say I wanted to, you know, add two numbers. So there's three ways to kind of declare a variable. So all of these are variable, like can be stored in a variable, right? So you know how in math we have like a is equal to 2 and then b is equal to 3 and then you just go a plus b and then that's like 5. That makes sense, right? So to declare them in like another programming language, in like C, you'd probably do like int a is equal to 2, right? In Python, you just go straight a equals 2. But in JavaScript, there's three ways to declare your variables. So you've got your var, your let, and your const. So has anyone ever heard about these three before?
No.
Yeah, I heard before, but
Mhm.
I
And
am,
did it confuse you?
yeah, letting const confuse me actually.
Yeah, they confused me too when I started off. So the only thing you need to know when you just start off coding to kind of avoid errors is always use let and const. But now we're gonna kind of go over the difference of this. But here's how you would like basically declare a variable in old JavaScript, This is how you would declare a variable in JavaScript before the new script came out. So, all of this new stuff like let and const, a bunch of things have changed. So this is like kind of what we defer to now, and I'll go over why. Okay. So this is one way of declaring a variable. So you got var a equals 2, var b equals 3. And when you console log it, hopefully it console logs. So yeah, you got your 5 here. So there's two other ways to declare it. So let's see yeah, go ahead, please.
Arushi, just quick question. When you say declare it, you meaning like,
Mhm.
so you're defining variable A, which is equals to 2, you're giving it a numerical value, and then you're adding them. So when you say declare, is this the way you say it? Does it mean defining, or like, because I'm new to technical
I
terms.
would say you can go ahead and say declaring a variable, that's fine. When whenever you're using either of these words, right? Either you're using var, let, or const, you can go ahead and say you're declaring a new variable there.
All right.
Yeah, that's
and then I don't know what you did in, like, you declared A and B, and then you did console.log.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go over that. So if you're familiar with basic Python, so console.log is the equivalent of print.
Print. Okay.
Or, I mean, we have print in Java too. So anyone who's from Python, Java, we got so console log is kind of like our print. It doesn't return anything. It prints something to the console. And we're gonna go over the console when we kind of start using JavaScript in the browser. So this is essentially like, this is Node. So when I run this file, I go Node and then the file name. So we're running it like, in Visual Studio Code right now, but when we run it in the browser, so if you go here, like, I think I was looking at like a recipe for soup last night. So this is your console. Like if you go right click on your Google Chrome.
Yeah.
And then click here, inspect, and then go here, console. So that's your console. So the stuff that I just did in Visual Studio Code. Okay. So you can do anything here. So you can do all your JavaScript here.
Okay.
Like, like the shell, like you do it in the shell. So yeah, you're going to be using this a lot. So don't worry about it. Yeah.
No, thank you. Like, I'll keep asking wherever I.
Oh yeah. Please, anyone, just completely feel free. This is like, a more chiller environment than the evening class. So don't worry about it. Okay. And then you got, you can also define variables like this. Okay. And now the most important thing is, like, I know this kind of seems confusing. Like, why do we have like 3 different ways to declare variables when you might be, used to either something like this or just something like this, right? But there is a reason, and it's a good one. So earlier we only had this. And what var is it's a global variable. So global means it exists everywhere. So if you have like a for loop in here, and I declare a var in here, you can access that outside. So if I go var new num, I can access this new num outside this for loop. So it's basically global. So it's available all throughout. So you see how that could be a problem, right? Like, can anyone tell me why that could be a problem if it's like, if like the variable is always globally available?
Yeah, because sometimes you just want to use it like in the function or using a for loop, but when you use it later, you have like the same value. So it kind of confuse you.
Yeah, exactly. So like, especially in super large programs that we deal with every day, if you've got like, say like a var, say you're signing up usernames, right? Say you got a var username equals Arushi, right? And then you say username is equal to something else now. So basically what's going to happen is you can actually access this username. Remember this console that I showed you? Any user can access this. So if I'm signing up someone using var, anyone can look at the username. So it's just there's some kind of security risks involved with var. That's why we try not to use it. And you shouldn't. You should always use let and const, but it's good to know. So you have to know what it is, but just don't use it. So these are the ones that we're going to be working with, let and const. The good thing about them is they're not global, they're block scoped. So for who doesn't know what block scoped is, how stuff looks like in JavaScript is anything that's between two curly braces. So say you got a for loop here, okay? I'm just gonna say for loop for now. Say you got a for loop here, okay? And then inside this for loop, you go let a is equal to 5. So this a lasts from wherever it was declared, right? So line 20 till wherever you find the curly parenthesis associated with this one. So basically, it's gonna last in here, but from its own declaration. Does that make sense? So you can call it anywhere after this. So you can kind of console log a anywhere over here, and you can access it here. But can you access it here if it's block scoped? Can you access a here?
No.
No.
Exactly. So that's the difference. So var is global. So, just stay away from stuff like that, like when you're coding. So let and const.
Arushi,
Uh-huh.
quick question. What did you call them? Blocked?
Block scoped.
Block scoped. So the
Yeah.
scope is blocked to use them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the block is anything that's between like this. The curly
Between the
braces.
curly braces. Okay.
Yeah, you'll understand more about block scope in once we start with more for loops, more functions inside functions, it'll just all make sense. So don't worry, we're gonna go over all of this stuff. But yeah, for now, the most important thing is understanding the difference between like let and const. So let's say you got a const b equals 3. So they are both block scoped. So that's good to know. So both let and const would last from here till here, like from wherever they're declared till line 23. But the main difference between let and const is that you can change the value inside let, but you can't change the value inside const.
Okay.
So by
So
changing,
it's like a constant.
yeah, it's literally exactly. It's like why didn't I think of that before? It's literally a constant, yeah. So I can go c equals 5, but if I go and okay, let's just console log it. So I got 2 5s here now. I'm gonna comment out this. So please remember your shortcuts for class today. So this one was for on Windows, it was control and /, like toggle comment on and off. It also does block comments kind of like this. So remember these. So yeah, so when we console logged C, after reassigning it, we were fine, right? We got C. But now we got D, right? And D is a constant. So let's go D equals 5. Let's see what happens. Error. Type error, assignment to constant variable. So it's literally not letting us reassign it. So let's try let's try kind of console logging D just by itself, just to see that it works. So it works by itself. So first you got C equals 3, then you got D equals 4, then you're reassigning C to 5, and then we're just printing out the values of C and D. So you got 5 and 4, and it's fine, but you just simply can't reassign const. Any guesses as to why it's even a good idea to have something like this when you're programming?
When you don't want to change a value.
Yeah. So some cases where you wouldn't have to change a value would be something like an object. So we're going to go over objects. So don't worry if you don't understand what they are right now. But yeah, something like an object for like people who already know what an object is would be good, because let's say you do let object is equal to something, right? So you can just reassign it. Someone else who's working on your code can just go object is now like, even though initially it was probably something like this. So they can just reassign the whole object. So we typically want to avoid stuff like that. So we do something like const object is equal to the stuff inside the object. That way the object can't be overwritten, but remember that its properties can still be edited. So I can still change this value. Okay, so just like a quick little reason why const and let are different.
Sorry, what do you say?
So essentially, when you do const object, when you declare an object as a constant,
All right.
you can't reassign the whole object like this. You can't do this, right? Because you know that you can't reassign a const. So, but you can still change the object's properties. So you can add new properties to the object and remove them. So you know how you got Arushi is 1.
Yeah.
So I can just make this 2, this value. I can make it 2, I can make it 3, wherever I want down here. That's fine. But I can't reassign the whole object. So what that does is if you've got like 20 people working on the same code base, and you, Michael, you accidentally just go like this, you accidentally write line 24, you'll get an error instantly. And say I have a lot of stuff in this object that won't be overwritten because of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's like a really big one. So any issues with let and const or var, just from like a high level?
No, we are fine.
Awesome. So
Yeah,
just
Arushi, I'm listening. It makes complete sense, but I think you will go ahead and then I'll understand, keep understanding more and more.
yeah, definitely. Like, when you have to like declare variables and stuff, it'll kind of make sense to you. Like, if you just had to write a basic function really quick, you'll understand it. Don't worry about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, the main difference, again, just to recap, is var is your global, let and const are block. Let can be changed, const cannot be. So just for the very high level basics, that's it. Okay, and I'm gonna try to keep it like easy. Like we're gonna try not to go a little too crazy today. So yeah, just understand this stuff, because if you understand it, it's really easy to code from here on out. So let's do a string. Okay, let's do bootcamp. Sure. And then let's console log that string. So we always say console logging something, like I'm console logging this, just lingo. So yeah, bootcamp. So that's a string. So just quickly, I'm just going over every single data type once more. So you've got your A equals 5. You've got your B equals, so we already covered string. So you got your true. So that's a Boolean, right? So you can just go like that. That's totally fine. So this is like an object. So this can be, this is kind of what objects look like. So every object is a key value pair. So what that means is this is the key and this is the value. So every key is associated with a value. So you know how you in Python you have dictionaries. It's essentially kind of like that. So the way they work is if anyone's dealt with hash maps, or let's go even basic, let's just go to like a literal dictionary maybe. Say you've got like, a variable, say you've got A, and Apple starts with A. So we can kind of do something like this. So whenever you kind of do something like this, you got Apple. You see this? So what I did was inside the object D, I referred to the key A. Do you see that?
Yeah. So we get the value.
Arushi?
Yeah.
Arushi, I can't see your bottom part of your terminal where it types.
I'm so sorry. 1 second. Do you see it now?
Yes, I do see it now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for telling me that. Please tell me if you can't see it. Yeah, so there's 2 ways of referring to stuff within an object. But first, let's just kind of go over what an object is for people who are not, completely comfortable with the topic. So like an object is just a container, okay? That kind of stores a variety of, say, properties. So like, let's say, we have a grocery store. So again, const, because objects, it's good to put them in a const. So let's say const grocery store, okay? And let's say inside this grocery store, you've got fruits And notice how this isn't a string, by the way. It can be a string if you want it to be a string, but this isn't a string. So you got your fruits, and let's say you got, an apple, and then you've got your veggies, and let's say you've got a cucumber, sure. And you've got your soda, which is just say, I don't know, Pepsi. And anything else you guys want to put in our grocery store? Any ideas? I'm
Milk.
kind of.
Maybe dairy, milk.
What?
You can admit.
Okay, person. No, we're not selling. We don't do human trafficking in our grocery store.
Dairy and the milk.
What?
A dairy.
A diary?
Yeah, we can put it milk in it.
Oh, like dairy. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
dairy, yeah.
Facts. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's just go cheese because it's better than milk. And then okay.
Dessert.
So
Or whatever.
oh yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah, let's go. Desserts is cheesecake because sure. Okay, so now notice how this is a const again, grocery, const grocery equals. And now this is like essentially like imagine like a small grocery store. So you've got your fruits, you've got your veggies. It's essentially a container, right? Containing all of these things. And then these are the values that you have for these things. So if you want, you can just, kind of expand on this list. You've got apples, you've got oranges, you've got, wow, I cannot come up with fruit names. You got cherry. Okay. So let's say this is the key, right? So let's say, I want all the fruits that I have in this grocery. Like, so what fruits can you sell me? So I just go grocery.fruits and let's see. So it just gave us all the values. So, this is like a great way to put your logic in sometimes. And for a lot of the data structure algorithm questions that we're going to be doing down the line, like all the algo expert stuff, it's going to be a lot of this. Like a lot of this, you're going to be using this a lot. So just like familiarize yourself with it. It's very simple, just key value pairs, right? So the good thing about this is quick lookup. So, just go like, okay, so what soda do you sell at your grocery store? You just go grocery.soda. It knows exactly where this is. It directly picks out, it directly goes to soda, finds the value for it and gives it back to you. Okay. So that's like the good part about objects. And then if you want, you can reassign it. So remember we talked about how you can't reassign stuff in const, right? So you can't go grocery is equal to something new. You can't do that. Like I can do it again and like type error. I promise, always a type error. So like, something like this is helpful because like, let's say I'm doing this and Deepa, like you come and you start working on my code and you go like, okay, let's just, do grocery equals this. So you'll instantly get an error. Like you wouldn't be allowed to do that. So all of, our data that's written over here will never get overwritten. But
quick question, Arushi. This is good. So you were saying something about like, look how grocery. So whenever you're defining like a variable or like declaring and what do you call it? Declaring and variable.
Declaring a variable, yeah.
Variable, right? So that variable, like you said, grocery, is it an integer or a string? Like, do we need to define it or is it okay? How does that work?
It's totally okay. So you don't have to go object grocery is equal to this because remember like object is one of our data types. So grocery currently holds an object. So there's basically two types of languages. Okay. So you've got stuff like Java and C, not to be confused with JavaScript. So Java and C, which is strictly typed. So what that means is like, just coming back here really quickly, if you have like int a equals 4, right? You can't go like this.
Okay.
You can't like just store a string in here. So it's important to specify the type of, the variable as int because it's only going to store int. In JavaScript, var, let, and const they are not related to the data type that's being held inside the variable, and for a good reason, because like Python, it's loosely typed. And now what that means is, I'm going to comment this stuff out really quickly, and we're just going to use this. So what that means is C is currently a string, right? So I'm just going to console log C here. But if I go C equals 5 and console log C again, that's totally fine. See? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
So
can
you
see.
can rewrite.
Here. So it
Yep.
can, so what that means is a loosely typed language means that it can store multiple data types. Now I can also go like C is equal to true, and see, so here C is a string, here it's a number, and here it's a Boolean.
Yeah.
But every time I console log it, it's fine. Like I'm okay. Because but in Java or C, this would be an error. Like a lot of programming languages don't allow you to do this. But loosely typed languages, like think Python, JavaScript, you can store different data types in the same variable.
Arushi, what is the good point? So like you said, like the other are more stricter. What is the pros and cons here? Like if you had to talk.
Honestly, it's about personal opinion. Like I thought it was like Java and C were great because restricting data types also kind of helps. Those languages are more complicated and you kind of have to restrict data types. But I think loosely typed languages are generally smarter in the sense that they can handle this.
Yeah.
Like Java and C simply can't handle this. Their compilers aren't built like you can handle a loosely typed thing. Yeah, I think like it makes the language kind of smarter because you can just reassign this whenever you want. And especially with JavaScript, it's good because like as a quick example, all the forms you fill out. Have you ever like filled out a form like in a browser? I'm gonna try and find a form really quick. Where do we find forms? Like usually, yeah, okay, stuff like here. You guys see this? Enter your email. So like say I enter my email here, okay? And then I hit join. So what's gonna happen is when JavaScript deals with this, it'll always come as a string. The thing with inputs, like stuff like this, stuff you type on the browser that goes to them, will always come like a string. So say you have a form where you say enter your age, right? And you enter your age, you say 5, like I'm 5 years old. So that's gonna go as a string. But say you wanna, do some kind of arithmetic on this age. So you're gonna have to convert it into number.
Yeah.
So you can do that in the same variable without having to, do multiple like duplicate variables. So that's why I think it's useful because, you can just take something as a string and quickly convert it to a number without having to use a new variable. So I think it's cool because of that. But then again, that's just personal opinion. But good to say if, an interviewer ever asks you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So back to groceries. So I can't do this, right? This gave us a type error. But any guesses on whether or not I can do this?
Yeah, you could do it.
Yes, you can.
Again. Yay. So, okay. See, so now everything else is the same, but in veggies, now we have red pepper instead of cucumber.
Yeah, you said that you can't change the entire object, but the features of the object you can.
Yeah, exactly. So we call these like properties. So yeah, we can change all the properties, not an issue. That's totally fine. We can even add new properties, but I think we've got enough here. So yeah, that's definitely important to know. Okay, so now let's just go to another data type before we continue on the grocery example, and that's array. So does anyone know what an array is?
I've heard, but I forgot.
It kind of looks like this with the square brackets.
Yeah.
Right. So JavaScript has a lot of great like inbuilt array methods. So if you're coming from like a Python background, you're gonna love them. They're very similar. If you're coming from a functional background, you're gonna love them. Java and C2, you're gonna love them because great, like seriously amazing array methods. I'm absolutely in love with them ever since I've been using them. So an array is basically, again, it's a collection of objects. So can anyone tell me like the basic difference between D and grocery? Like this variable D and grocery, like apart from the contents.
I mean, the difference is that array is like a collection.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can collect whatever you want to. However, like in the object, like the dictionary, you can collect like different kind of information.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So the thing about array is everything is indexed, right? So everything is in order. So it's always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, no matter what you do. The thing about objects is you see this stuff in here, like fruits, veggies, soda, dairy, desserts. It seems like it's in order. It's not. It's really not. You cannot expect an order from this. This might as well have been this. And that would be valid, you know? So what I mean by order is in memory, it's not saved in order. But this is saved one after the other. So 2 is saved after 1, 3 is saved after 2, 4 is saved after 3, which means we can do stuff like this. B0. Does anyone know what that'll give me?
1.
Exactly. JavaScript is also zero-based indexing. So this is index 0. Sorry. This is index 0. This is index 1, 2, 3. So yeah, that will just to kind of, sorry, let me just clear it. And okay, that gave us 1. Okay, but we can't do that to grocery, can we? The only reason we can't do that to objects like this is because they're not ordered. They're unordered. So everything's just kind of randomly thrown in there, you know? So I can't do grocery 0. I can't just do this.
So you cannot really index or slice it nicely.
Yeah, exactly. I can't do any of that stuff. There's different things that we can do. So again, there's a reason these two exist. There's different like pros and cons of using them, and you'll understand them over time, right? So if you need something to be in order, like it always absolutely has to be in order. You'd use something like an array. You know, if you want to store like, or you just want to store multiple things that, you know, that you can't categorize, you can use an array. That's fine. You know, this is for like, you have to have a key, you have to have a value. Array, you just have to have values and they're all ordered. So you can always do stuff like this. Okay, so let's kind of like refactor our grocery example a little. Oh, my bad. Our grocery example a little bit, and let's take this away. Okay, and instead of fruits just being a comma separated string, let's do an array of strings. Okay, so let's do, what did we have again? Apple, yeah, cherry. Oh my god, what's the third one? Okay, let's just do banana. Do you see this? So so this adds some more structure to what we have here. So what we can do is let's just uncomment this line, this console log right here, and let's get fruits, and then let's get its first element. Let's see what happens. And you got apple.
Okay.
So that added some more structure to our object, right? So you know you want fruits, but you know you want the first fruit on the list. Or you want the second fruit on the list, which is index 1. Or you want the third fruit on the list, which is index 2. So, you know, just like one way that you could kind of use an array. Does that make sense? Do you guys have any questions?
No.
No,
Okay.
no.
Awesome. So let's okay, I guess I can give you homework later. Are we good to keep going, or is this like a lot?
No, it's good.
No, keep going.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna quickly, let's just like comment everything out. Okay, everything's just gone now. Clear. Okay. So, do you guys also want this stuff, by the way, like these files?
No.
Yeah, I think you're
May-
good, right? I mean, this is all
may-
recorded, so
Yeah,
if you
I
watch
mean,
the recording. Mhm.
no, go ahead.
No, you were
Okay.
saying, please.
No, I was just saying that right now I'm listening, but I'll practice it later, and if I need to, I'll access the
Yeah, don't
your
worry.
recording.
I'm gonna give you homework, so don't worry. Like I'll write it down, I'll send it on the Slack. Don't worry about it at all. So, like 2 little questions for today, but they'll be nice. So let's just go into functions. You know, we still have 20 minutes. I really feel like we can go to functions, right? So since we're starting from like completely bare minimum, like has anyone dealt with math functions that kind of look like this? Like math, like, you know, back in high school kind of math, like f of xy equals x plus y. Has anyone ever done stuff like that?
No, that one no.
Maybe more like f of x equals x plus 1, stuff like that back in school,
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
right? Like f of x was so common, right? So what did that do? It was basically a function. So it takes in some value x and it gives you x plus 1. So if I did f of 3, I get 4. If I did f of 5, I get 6. Right?
Yeah.
So that's
Arushi?
essentially, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't remember this one. So just to so when you say function of x, so whatever you put like a value of x like 3, and you
Mhm.
define x plus 1, or is it universal?
So I'll define it. So the
You
good thing
define,
about,
so you could
Mhm. Yeah, go ahead.
so you could also say x plus 5
Yeah.
or x plus 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the good things about functions is we define their name. So in here, we don't have a name, right? Because this is like high school math. But the good thing about programming is we always have a name. Okay. And we always have these things which we call parameters. So now this is no longer available. Okay. It's a parameter now because it's going inside a function. So all you need to know about functions is it takes in some value, sometimes no values at all, which is fine too. But it takes in a value and it gives out something that it does with that value, right? That's called a pure function. It takes in one value and gives out one value. But functions in JavaScript kind of look like this. Okay, wait, let's just quickly turn this into an add function. Let's say we had x and y. So it would kind of look like this. If you just wanted to write a function that adds 2 things, this is what it would look like, right? You take in an x, you take in a y, you add both of them. So let's write a function that like adds any 2 numbers in JavaScript. So the way this works is you got to use this keyword, okay? Function. So you got to use the function keyword. Let me actually write the format first. You're going to use the function keyword. You're going to put the function name, okay? You're going to put your arguments here or parameters, okay? And then you're going to have curly brackets, braces. Oh, what is it? Is it curly braces or is it curly brackets? Either one, whatever.
Both are fine.
Both are fine?
Yeah.
Awesome. So then you're going to do that. Okay. And then in here, you're going to do stuff. So that's how a function looks like. Okay. So let's like look at this format and try to make our function. Okay. And what I want this function to do is I want the function to add 2 numbers, which I'm going to call x and y. Okay. So let's try writing it. So what should I do first?
So you say function and adding, like that will be the name.
Okay. So Michael chose the name, by the way. So Michael chose the name adding. So it's
Yeah.
not like inbuilt or anything. So, we're building kind of our own thing. Yeah, go ahead. And then what else should we do?
I mean, we could do some
X
stuff.
and Y.
We can get the number from another variable, or we can create the variable inside the function.
Yeah, but in here, I want to add two numbers, X and Y.
So we get X and Y in the
Yeah,
parameter.
like here?
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
Curly braces,
okay, and
then X plus Y.
Okay.
And then you declare outside. Actually,
yeah,
you
I can
put
just
like-
return. You can
yeah.
return in here. Yeah, we'll go over that. But for now, I'll just console log it really quickly. And then we'll go over it. Again, console log is just our print statement, right, for JavaScript.
Yeah.
So, okay, so like going off of this based on the stuff, so you got your function, the keyword that you have to have when you're, saying that, okay, this is the function. Then you got the function name, which is adding. Then you've got your arguments or parameters. So now arguments, parameters, let's just really stress this, okay? So arguments, here I said, I want you to make a function to add two numbers, X and Y. So you take in X and Y, right? So this is where you take stuff into the function. So you say, okay, I want you to add these two numbers. So that's what X comma Y here means. So I want you to add these two numbers. And then inside the function, what we're doing is we're console logging it. So we're doing X plus Y. So what do you think is going to happen when I do this, when I run the file?
It's not going to work.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen. Like literally nothing's going to happen. Like all of our stuff is commented out and we just wrote a function, right? But we didn't call it. So if we do adding and we do 2 and 3, so essentially this is a function call, okay?
Okay.
So this is a function call. This is a function declaration. Okay. So if I say adding 2 comma 3, now what do you think is going to happen?
It will be 5.
Yeah, we got 5. And now the good thing about this is, why do we even need functions, right? I mean, you would probably say, I can just do this. I can just do this. But say you have something more complicated that you want to compute, right? Say you want to compute the price for something given the cost and a markup. Then you just want a function where you can, kind of put in the cost, the markup, and it'll give you the price automatically. Because you don't want to, do the math for it all the time. You want to figure out the logic once, put it inside the function. Like, okay, this is how I would solve it on paper. You'd put it inside a function, and then you just keep calling the function. So again, for the function call, our format is function name, parentheses, and arguments value. So it's not just the arguments. You can't just go X comma Y. You got to put in the value for the arguments. But here's something that you can do, okay? You can do let A is equal to 2 again. Let B is equal to 7. And then you can do this. See, 9. Does that kind of make sense a little bit?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Makes sense, right? Awesome. So yeah, so there we go. That's like our whole basics of function. Functions go, yeah, there's a lot you can do with functions in JavaScript. This is just one way to write the function. You've got arrow functions now, which kind of look like this. We'll go over them like I think tomorrow. I think this is good for today. But yeah, that's what we have. Let's write another function. Let's write another function. Or you know what? Let's do something fun. Let's try and write a function inside the object, because that is something you can do in JavaScript. So let's write a function. What should we write a function for? Let's write it here, I think, or maybe at the bottom is fine too. Okay, let's write a function. So the cool thing about objects in JavaScript is they can hold all of this stuff. So we'll call it get first. Okay, it's just a function. I'm just writing a function right now. And I'm saying function. And now check out how my parentheses are empty. You see that?
Yeah.
Because I don't have a parameter in here. So whenever this is empty, you know for a fact, okay, I don't have like a parameter in here. And then you've got function, but you've got no function name. Right?
Sorry, what do you say?
So you've got a function.
Yeah.
You look at the format again, right? So you
Yeah.
got the function keyword. So that's there. You've got the parentheses for arguments, but there are no arguments, so it's empty, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then you gotta have function name, but we don't have a function name here. So these kind of functions are called anonymous functions. I'm probably gonna skip this for now, but I just kind of wanted to show you that this kind of exists. So these are called anonymous functions because they don't have a name.
A question, Arushi.
Mhm.
So why do we need them again, anonymous functions? When so you said that the great
Yeah,
thing
let
about
me give you an idea of how they're called. So if I had to call this function, it'd be called like
this,
this, like this. The
Yeah,
thing here is
and-
it's stored inside this variable, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
So I can just call the variable. So what
Yeah.
happens is if I call the variable, I get the function definition, right? I get this whole thing back from this line. You know, whenever you call the key, you get the value. And once I
Yeah.
got the value, I just call the value. I know that's a lot, like for anyone who's new to JavaScript, but that's something, you know, we'll eventually work on it. It'll make more sense. But I just kind of wanted
Okay.
you to know that, you know, this definition isn't like permanent. This isn't it. There are 2 or 3, I think maybe even 4 different ways to write functions in JavaScript, and we're going to go over all of them, so don't worry about it. I just kind of wanted you to know that, you know, it exists. There is such a thing as an anonymous function in JavaScript, you know, where there is no function name. Okay, so why don't you guys actually write a function now? Okay, let's write a function, and let's make it a little bit fun. Okay, do you want to do, okay, you know what? Let's just do the fun function for homework for now. Just do the opposite of this. Let's just do a function to subtract 2 numbers a and b this time, not x and y. So now we want to write a function to subtract a and b. Do you guys have your stuff set up?
Opening it now.
Yeah.
If it's not set up, just open a CodePen link. So CodePen. So just go on CodePen. Okay, so this is what you do. I'll tell you. If you want to quick code quickly, go to CodePen, go to pen, and just go here and start typing here. All the console logs that you want to see are going to be here. Bottom left console.
CodePen.
Yeah, just go to CodePen, you know, and just go on the JavaScript side, like JS side. If you want, you can also like kind of get rid of them, like kind of like this, you know, have more space if you want it. If you don't, that's fine. So, and just kind of just write a function. So what we're doing is we're writing a function. Actually, I can still go back here because I have my stuff set up. So now we're doing this, okay? Write a function to subtract 2 numbers, a and b. So now you got a and b. And you can just console log it inside the function and outside it if you're testing it.
You want me to tell you the answer or?
No, once you're done, let's just like give it like another minute for everyone to be done.
All
And
right.
then if everyone's done, we can just quickly, everyone can just share our screens. So everyone knows the question, right? Like just a function for adding A and B, sorry, subtracting A and B, two numbers.
Arushi,
Yeah,
I am a little. Could you help me with the
yeah. Share your
code
screen.
pen of a share screen? Yeah. Just give me a
So CodePen, by the way, pro tip, like pro bootcamp tip, it's great for, you know, your Reaction website. So literally all of my HTML, CSS, JavaScript homework, I would do it like on VS Code, and then I'd just copy paste everything to CodePen and then share that link. So you'll get used to it. So okay. Wait, what is this?
I don't know.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
should I clear it or like it's fine?
So again, so you want to have good formatting, right? So format it properly, like put console log in a new line. So after the curly braces open, hit enter on
Yeah.
line first, before console. Yeah, hit enter. Okay, and at the end, hit enter again.
At the end.
No, before the curly braces.
Oh, sorry.
No. Do Control Z.
Yeah. Here, and then you said here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so you want to have it properly like indented, you know, your style matters, and it works. So you got, you know, you got your minus, your 3,2, and it gave you 1. So that's
And
perfect.
how do I run this? How do I mean, I don't think I have.
Yeah, the thing with CodePen is once you put a console log in there, it just keeps running. It's just running it
So,
over and over. Every time you
that
change
is why
something,
it's
it'll
giving
run.
me 1. Okay.
Yeah.
For
So like
example, if I
change the numbers, yeah. So it'll just rerun again. Just scroll to the bottom, see 3. So every time you change something, it'll rerun. Yeah.
Arushi,
Yeah.
just I would like to share my screen. I'm getting a console
Yeah.
error.
Go ahead. Sure.
So that's the one.
Oh, you have a little typo, so it's console. So you've got
yeah.
it. No issues. Yeah, go ahead, run it, and we'll see if it works.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. Perfect.
Yes, I got it.
All right. Go ahead, Michael. You said you had it, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but it's not running for me. I don't know why.
Show us. We'll figure it out. Because CodePen, trust me, it's your friend. It's great for, you know, like whenever you want to quickly check something, like there's so much stuff in JavaScript, you just want to check.
Just share it with you. Share screen. Oh, sorry, never mind actually.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so again, so all parameters that go inside, so not adding, nice name. So everything that goes in there is, again, it's comma separated. And when you call it, again, all the parameters, arguments, everything is comma separated.
Yeah.
Awesome. So it looks good and we're right on time. So let me give you guys a homework, okay? So first thing I want you to do is let me just like write it and kind of either, I'll just put it right here. Let me just share my screen. So if you have any questions, you can just go ahead and ask. So the first question is, I want you to make a variable of all of these types, these 4 types. So you've got your string, number, Boolean, object.
Okay.
So make a var, let, and const of all 4 major data types. Console log them and then reassign them like we did today, right? So you want to make a var let const of all of them. So you want to do like a var number, a let number, a const number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're doing so you're doing var, let, and const for each of the 4 major data types. So you've got your number, string, Boolean, object. That's all we're messing with right now. We'll do like undefined and null tomorrow. We'll kind of try to go over that. And then console log them. So just after you're done defining it, console log all the defining and then reassign them. I promise you're going to learn some stuff about JavaScript. Once you try to do that, you'll learn a lot.
But you cannot reassign const.
Yeah, exactly. So try to.
So you'll get errors. Okay.
Yeah. Get the error and then just comment the line out.
Okay.
And then question 2 is, so here's what I want you to do, okay? Write a function that takes in a cost price and a markup, calculate and console log the profit. So you guys know how like cost price and markup works, right? So what you can do is, I'll give you the variable names already, so you don't have to worry about it. So cost price can be cost and markup can just be markup. Okay. And essentially, you know how this works, right? So if something's like $100,
Markup is like a discount?
it's no, it would be like the stuff, the percentage of profit that you want. So, you know, you want to mark it up by 10%. So your profit will be 110.
Okay. So cost price is what it's costing us, like $100, whatever product is. Then we want to mark up, let's say whatever. Well, we want to make profit of 10, 20, 25. So, okay. And then we have to calculate the profit. Okay.
Yeah. So make sure your markup is a number. So they're both numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Takes in two numbers. So it takes in 2 numbers. Okay. So you've got your cost and you've got your markup. Okay. And then so our price after this is essentially going to be, so what's the formula, right? It's I think, so you take 10% of the cost price, right? Then you add it to the cost price. That's the formula, right? Yeah. So yeah, 10% of 100 is 10, and then you add it to 100. So yeah, that's the formula. That's essentially a function. I just need you to code it. So that's the formula. And as like an added challenge, not required, but if you can do this, that'd be cool. Would be if you can console log the profit as this. So if you could format it like this, that'd be cool.
We can Google how to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to Google anything. That's totally fine. If you can console log the profit. So like right now, if you were to write this function, console log the profit, it'll probably be a number, right? You'll just like give us a number.
Yeah.
So
but we want this to say your profit will be and then the number.
Yeah, if you can, yeah, console log it like that, that's cool. If you can't, that's fine. We'll like go over it tomorrow. But yeah, this is definitely it. I can post this on Slack, I think.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, what's up?
So wait, tomorrow. Actually, never mind.
Oh, what's up?
No, I was thinking like I think tonight I cannot join to the meeting, and I think tomorrow I cannot join either.
Oh, you can't? That's okay, don't worry. We have like recordings for stuff.
All right, perfect. So for example, when we do the homework, where are we supposed to like? Do we have to show you or how it is?
Yeah, so once you're done with this, we'll just go over it tomorrow. Like I'll like look at your stuff. Like
Oh,
question
okay.
one honestly is more like for personal practice. So just do it and kind of like understand how this stuff works, var, let, const, and your 4 major data types. And then just write the function. Like I'll definitely like look at everyone's function.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So we can
Right.
show you on CodePen.
Yeah. CodePen's fine. Anything's fine. Whatever you want. Yeah. As long as it's JavaScript, we're good to go.
Perfect. Thank you, Arushi. I have a quick question before you go. Sachin had told us to go through GitHub because I was a little lost. So I tried to do the course today. Is there anything else like, so today in the evening, do you have any idea what we're going to cover? So I accordingly do, like, I will accordingly watch some videos.
Makes sense. Yeah, let me send you actually a video for people who are having trouble with Git.
No, he did send it to us on Slack.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
he said tomorrow we are going to cover that or today, because then I will either do it today or tomorrow.
Let me check the curriculum really quickly.
I think Sachin asked to do it today before we come to the class.
Yeah, Git, definitely you have to do it today. And I think you also have to put it on your React Netlify thing. So Git, you definitely just do it before class. It's good to know. We're going to be using Git a lot. So, like a lot of people like kind of code by themselves, right? Like I didn't know Git properly before. So we're going to be like, forking the repo and like doing stuff to the repo. So yeah.
All right. And Arushi, one more thing. I'm going to share my screen quickly and ask you something about the...
If everyone else wants to drop off, it's totally fine.
So can you see my VS Code starting page, right?
Yeah.
So every time I open, like let's say today, I wanted to work on practicing on JavaScript, right? So should I open a new folder or a new file, or does it not matter?
So how I would recommend you do this is, did you make that folder, write your software here?
I did.
Okay,
so here.
If you can open it.
Yep. You mean on VS Code?
Yeah. No, not on VS Code, like in your like file directory, like the actual.
Yeah. Can you see it?
No, I think you're only sharing your.
Oh, just give me 1 second. That's why. Here.
Yeah, perfect. So you already cloned it. Oh, I think you cloned it yesterday. Cool. So what I do is in here, make another folder, like call it morning session or something like that. And what you can do is all of your classwork, just put it in the write your software folder here. And all of your morning stuff you can put in here. Not Java, JavaScript.
I don't know the difference also. So JavaScript is a script and Java is?
No, it's a pretty big difference. It's okay, we'll go over it. But yeah, so put like your morning stuff in here if you need to. Like eventually we're going to be doing more and more, so you're going to need Node, but I'm pretty sure we're going to set up Node in class like maybe today or tomorrow. And even if we don't, we'll just set it up like in one of our morning sessions.
Okay. And for instance, like for example, if I just open like let's say a new file
Yeah.
and okay.
So don't do it like this. So do you remember we went over the whole command line stuff yesterday?
Command line stuff for I don't remember for what.
No, open a terminal. You're on the search thing right now. So I know the short, yeah, terminal, new terminal. Yeah, there you go. And now what you want to do is go to the folder, like, or open it. I think you can go to file, open folder. Yeah, open folder. Yeah. Open the warning thing folder.
A file open dialog is already or will be shown for the window. I don't know why.
No, you just click on open folder.
I did, and it's giving me this, you know, at the bottom, a file open dialog.
Oh,
It's
so you
already-
already have like a file thing open. So I think you have to close that first. Yeah, you got the folder open. So just close the folder that you have open on the right.
On the right, I don't know where is that folder.
Wait, so your question was basically where do you make a new file, right?
Where do I make a new file and just go ahead and start with the JavaScript here, right? It's like
Yeah.
VS Code kind of does everything, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's just like how I do, like I would be writing over here where I, you know, my command, and then this will be my console.
So what I do is I open the folder to the write your software folder. And if you're doing it for the morning session, you can go to the morning session folder. And then what you want to do is either in VS Code, you can create a new file, or in your command line, you can, you know, create a new file, however you do that in a Mac. I don't have a Mac actually.
Okay.
So I'm not sure about the, you know, command for Mac to create a new file. So you basically create a new file and you give it a .js extension.
Okay.
New .js file. So like, you know, first.js, second.js, whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, then what you do is you just start coding in it. That's it.
Okay. So just like how in HTML I would save it .html, here I would just save it .js, and then I will run the usual way.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm sorry because this is very new for me, so I'm just kind of
Don't worry
figuring out
about
my basics to navigate through the process.
Yeah, don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all.
Thank you so much, Arushi.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Perfect. Yes. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you, Arushi.
Of course.